Jing Haipen, male, Han nationality, native of Yunjing, Shaanxi, member of the Communist Party of China, doctorate. Born in October 1966, joined the army in June 1985, and joined the Communist Party of China in September 1987. He is a special astronaut of the Chinese People's Liberation Army Astronaut Brigade and holds the rank of Major General. He used to be the pilot director of a certain regiment headquarters of a certain division of the Air Force, and was rated as a first-class pilot of the Air Force. In January 1998, he was selected as the first batch of astronauts in my country. He once served as the deputy commander of a certain army of the Army, the captain of the astronaut brigade, and the deputy commander of the astronaut system of the manned spaceflight project. In September 2008, he carried out the manned mission of Shenzhou 7. In November of the same year, he was awarded the honorary title of Heroic Astronaut by the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, the State Council, and the Central Military Commission, and was awarded the Space Medal of Merit. In June 2012, he carried out the manned flight mission of Shenzhou 9 and served as the commander. In October of the same year, he was awarded the second-class Aerospace Meritorious Medal by the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, the State Council, and the Central Military Commission. In October 2016, he carried out the manned flight mission of Shenzhou 11 and served as the commander. In December of the same year, he was awarded the first-class Aerospace Merit Medal by the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, the State Council, and the Central Military Commission. In 2017, he was awarded the August 1st Medal by the Central Military Commission. In 2018, he was awarded the title of Pioneer of Reform by the Central Committee of the Communist Party of China and the State Council, and awarded the Pioneer of Reform Medal. In 2021, he was named the 8th National Moral Model of Professional Dedication. In June 2022, he was selected as the crew of the manned mission of Shenzhou 16 and served as the commander. Resume of Comrade Zhu Yangzhu. Zhu Yangzhu, male, Han nationality, native of Pei County, Jiangsu Province, member of the Communist Party of China, doctorate. Born in September 1986, joined the army in September 2005, and joined the Communist Party of China in December 2006. He is a fourth-level astronaut in the Astronaut Brigade of the Chinese People's Liberation Army and has the rank of colonel in the army. He used to be an associate professor at the Aerospace Engineering University of the Strategic Support Force. In September 2020, as an aerospace flight engineer, he was selected as the third batch of astronauts in my country. In June 2022, he was selected as the crew for the manned mission of Shenzhou 16. Comrade Gui Haikeo's resume. Gui Haikeo, male, Han nationality, native of Shidian, Yunnan, member of the Communist Party of China, doctorate. Born in November 1986, joined the Communist Party of China in July 2020, professor and doctoral supervisor of Beijing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics. In September 2020, as a payload expert, he was selected as the third batch of astronauts in my country. In June 2022, he was selected as the crew for the manned mission of Shenzhou 16. Chinese scientists realize quantum key distribution of thousands of kilometers without repeater optical fiber. The reporter learned from the University of Science and Technology of China that Pan Jianwei and Zhang Jiang of the school cooperated with Wang Xiaobin of Tsinghua University, Lu Yang of Jinan Institute of Quantum Technology, Yu Lixing, and Zhang Weihun of Shanghai Institute of Microsystem and Information Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences, through the development of low cross-stock phase reference signal control, ultra-low noise single photon detector and other technologies have realized the 1002 km point-to-point long-distance quantum key distribution in the optical fiber, which not only set a world record for the quantum key distribution distance without repeaters in the optical fiber, but also provided intercity quantum communication, a solution for high-speed backbone links. Schematic diagram of the long-distance quantum key distribution experimental system. Photo provided by the research team of University of Science and Technology of China. Quantum key distribution is based on the basic principles of quantum mechanics, which can safely distribute keys among users, combined with the one-time pad encryption method, and then realize the highest security confidential communication. However, the distance of quantum key distribution has been limited by factors such as the inherent loss of communication fibers and detector noise. The double-field quantum key distribution protocol utilizes the characteristics of single-photon interference, which can effectively improve the working distance of the quantum key distribution system. It is understood that in this work, the research team adopted the send-not-send double-field quantum key distribution protocol proposed by Wang Xiaobin and others, cooperated with YOFC Co., Limited, and adopted a pure silica ultra-low-loss optical fiber with fiber core technology. The Shanghai Institute of Microsystem and Information Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences has developed an extremely low-noise superconducting single-photon detector, and the research team has also developed a time-division multiplex dual-wavelength phase estimation scheme. This work has achieved a double-field quantum key distribution of up to 1002 kilometers, and obtained a coding rate of 0.0034 bits per second. After optimizing the system parameters, a coding rate of 47.06 kilobits per second was obtained at a fiber distance of 202 kilometers, and at a fiber distance of 300 kilometers and 400 kilometers. The obtained coding rate was compared with the original measurement device-independent quantum key. The distribution is improved by 6 orders of magnitude. According to the researchers, this work not only verified the feasibility of the double-field quantum key distribution scheme at extremely long distances, but also verified that the protocol can achieve high coding rate quantum key distribution at intercity optical fiber distances, which is suitable for the backbone link of intercity quantum communication is used. At noon on May 28, the sun was shining brightly. On both sides of the runway of Beijing Capital International Airport, fire engines were on standby. The crowd at the scene were all colorful and held their breath. Not long after, a white passenger plane appeared in the sky and slowly landed on the runway with the bright sunshine. History will always remember this moment at 12:31. 2 fire trucks sprayed out water jets, forming a water gate, and the passenger plane drove through the water gate. The water droplets aroused reflected rainbows in the sun, and there was thunderous applause on the runway. Since then, the domestically produced large aircraft C919 has successfully completed its first commercial flight, officially entered the civil aviation market, and started a new journey of market-oriented operation and industrialized development. From the establishment of the project in 2007, to the completion of the final assembly in November 2015, the first flight in May 2017, and the first commercial flight today, after 16 years of long journey, the C919 finally survived the first flight stage, and obtained an admission ticket for a commercial airliner. This ticket is not easy to get, Japan's domestic airliner MRJ, but not able to get it. The MRJ airliner was conceived in 2004, and the project was officially launched in 2008, led by Mitsubishi and funded by the government. However, serious delays occurred at the beginning of the project. The first flight originally planned for 2012 was delayed until November 2015. In the subsequent tests, there were many problems, especially in the test flight in Oregon, USA in August 2017. The left engine had a serious failure directly, almost crashing the plane. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, directly announced that it would not approve the MRJ, and determined that there were serious problems with the design, requiring the aircraft to be overthrown and restarted, which was tantamount to a death sentence. Unwilling to reconcile, Japan took various remedial measures, such as increasing the proportion of foreign R&D personnel, but all kinds of tinkering were of no avail. After a few years of delay, the disheartened Mitsubishi finally announced the dissolution of the project. So far, MRJ, which took 15 years and cost more than RMB 50 billion, has officially failed. As a country with a strong aviation industry, Japan failed to obtain an entry ticket, which fully proves how difficult it is to obtain the entry ticket for C919. After the first hurdle, the second hurdle follows, the ramp-up stage of production capacity. This level is the real nightmare. C919 will face 3 major difficulties: loss, accident, and supply chain. In the initial stage of a large aircraft project, there will definitely be losses, and it will be a serious loss. Take Airbus as an example. Airbus was established in 1970, but it didn't make a profit until 1996, and it lost money for 25 years. In order to keep Airbus alive, Britain, France, and Germany took the lead in giving Airbus a direct subsidy of up to $13.5 billion US. The US dollar at that time was still very valuable. Converted to today's US dollar, it is at least 50 billion. This is just a direct subsidy. The European community also allows star airlines such as Air France and Lufthansa to directly purchase Airbus passenger planes, dozens or hundreds of them, ensuring Airbus order volume. The European community also coordinates at the national level to ensure that there will be no companies or projects competing with Airbus in Europe, so as to concentrate resources and avoid internal friction. In addition, the European community established the European Aviation Agency in 1992, which unified the airworthiness certification of the European community countries and greatly lowered the market entry threshold for Airbus in European countries. With so many support measures, Airbus has still lost money for 25 years, which shows the difficulty of making a profit in the large aircraft market. It's a bit similar to the internet, where you have to burn a lot of money in exchange for traffic in the early stage. Of course, the current airliner market is very different from the time when Airbus was first established. At least the market size has increased greatly, and it is not as difficult to make profits as before. However, in the first few years of operation of the C919, losses are still predictable. There is a lot of 400 profit and loss lines for large aircraft, which means that an aircraft must sell at least 400 to recover its cost. Starting from 401 is a net profit. The total number of orders for C919 has exceeded 800, and the order is not a problem. However, in order to truly turn orders into profits, it is necessary to go through the most painful stage of capacity ramp-up. Apart from problems such as personnel training and lack of experience, the biggest obstacle to capacity ramp-up is the supply chain. The localization rate of C919 is 60%, which means that 40% still needs to be purchased. Aircraft can be broadly divided into three major parts: airframe, onboard systems, and power. Airframe parts, that is, wings, hatches, fuselage, etc., due to the strength of China's aerodynamic field, the airframe parts have been basically localized, and the current outsourcing mainly focuses on airborne systems and power. Some of the airborne systems can be supplied domestically, and some are not available in China. However, through the establishment of joint ventures with foreign parties, they are trying to catch up. This is not a big problem. The main problem, that is, the engine. The LEAP X1C engine used in the C919 is from CFM, a joint venture between General Motors of the United States and Safran of France. In view of Trump's rumored ban on the sale of this engine to China, and the fact that C919 and Boeing Airbus are both in competition, Europe and the United States will definitely use this to limit the increase in production capacity of C919, and the domestically produced CJ1000A engine will continue to grow in the short term. It is still unable to replace imports, so in the first few years, the production capacity of C919 may not be able to increase too fast. In addition, accidents are also a problem that must be faced. The A320 crashed directly into a tree during its first test flight, and the Boeing 737 MAX was banned from flying around the world due to 2 consecutive accidents. As long as it is an aircraft or an industrial product, it is impossible to avoid accidents, and the aircraft is no exception. But the bad public opinion environment we face will infinitely magnify the problem. Do you still remember the Wenzhou train accident in 2011? At that time, almost the whole internet was madly sprayed, and there was almost no factual discussion. All the blame was directed at the high-speed race. A reporter wrote a fact-based report, but was subjected to cyber violence and human flesh searches. During the test flight of C919 in April, the engine failed, and then it was rumored that the project had failed. If there is an accident after it is officially put into operation, no matter what the real reason is, the article Ask the Body, I am thinking will spread across the web. All this determines that C919 would rather have a lower output and a larger loss in the initial stage of growth, and also want to be stable. There are indeed many difficulties, but we are not without advantages, and our local market is the biggest advantage. In the next 20 years, it is estimated that the demand for new aircraft in the Chinese market will exceed 8,000. Calculated at about $100 million per aircraft, it will be a large market of 260 billion yuan per year, and this is just the aircraft itself. Including maintenance and others, the total reaches 350 to 400 billion/year. With such a huge market, as long as part of it is cut off for COMAC, it will be enough to keep it alive. This is the confidence of C919. Of course, it is not enough just to have a market, and you must have your own strength to win the market. The performance advantage of the C919 lies in that it can effectively reduce operating costs by using supercritical wings. Compared with traditional wings, supercritical wings have smaller aerodynamic resistance and lighter structural weight. At the same time, in the research and development stage, the concept of integrated design was applied. Traditional aircraft design is to design the wings first, and then design the engine and body, so that it may lead to a mismatch between the front and the back, forced to compromise with each other, and raise the cost. The C919 considers the whole from the beginning of the design, minimizes the trouble at the source, thereby reducing the cost, and the engine used is more fuel efficient, which can reduce the operating cost by 10%. This figure does not seem to be much, but in reality the temptation for airlines is huge. Unlike the glamorous appearance, the profit margin of airlines is actually very low. Taking the three major domestic airlines as an example, China Eastern Airlines revenue in 2019 was 128.188 billion, net profit was 3.192 billion, and the profit margin was only 2.4%. Air China's revenue in 2019 was 136.181 billion, with a net profit of 7.252 billion and a profit margin of 5.3%. China Southern Airlines revenue in 2019 was 154.322 billion, with a net profit of 2.651 billion and a profit margin of 1.7%. If the operating cost can be reduced by 10%, it will be a huge increase in profit. Even if it can't be achieved by 10%, even if it is only reduced by a few points, it will save hundreds of millions of money a year. In addition to reducing operating costs, there are also hidden maintenance costs. Taking Air China as an example, the aircraft repair and maintenance cost in 2019 exceeded 6 billion, and the average annual maintenance cost per aircraft exceeded 9 million. The reason why it is so expensive is mainly due to the high cost of components. Someone in the industry once pointed out that a small screw costs $15. You can't use it if it's too expensive, because all supporting parts are monopolized, and you have no choice. No wonder some people ridicule that Boeing and Airbus do not make money by selling planes, but by repairing them. The emergence of C919 will make Boeing and Airbus not dare to be so presumptuous. Not only will the price of parts be lowered, but it may also be sent for several more maintenances, very beneficial to reduce the cost of airlines. The addition of C919 will not only reduce the cost of airlines, but also benefit the overall progress of the civil aviation industry. The root cause of the Boeing 737 MAX accident is that the original design of the 737 MAX was in 1964, and it did not match the new engine later, which would cause the aircraft to rise during flight. Logically speaking, Boeing should redesign a model. However, in order to save costs, Boeing just used software to forcibly press down the nose of the aircraft, and it was a matter of course. Forcibly forcing the nose down could easily lead to a stall, and then an air crash. Boeing dares to be fooled like this because it has seen the current oligopoly situation in the civil aviation industry. Airbus's production capacity has long been full, and the remaining customers have no choice except Boeing. Can pinch your nose to pay. You see, not long after the Boeing 737 MAX was grounded, it began to be sold again. It's not that everyone likes this product so much, but the choices are really limited. It can be said that today's civil aviation industry has been suffering from oligarchs for a long time. This is not only a problem of China's civil aviation industry, but also the voice of the civil aviation industry of the world, especially developing countries. This is only an economic issue, and it is even more serious when considering political risks. In March this year, the U.S. Treasury Department remotely froze Belarusian President Lukashenko's Boeing plane. What does that mean? This is the plane. From now on, it's not your Lukashenko's, it's my U.S. Treasury Department's. How many years has it been since this plane was sold, and it can still be played like this? Moreover, the United States still has the bad habit of installing bugs on Boeing planes. In 2000, China ordered a special plane from Boeing for the chief executive, and later found 27 bugs, large and small, on the plane, which is shocking. We should make good use of this to explore the markets of developing countries, especially those countries that have conflicts with the United States. Buying C919 is like which can eliminate the possibility of being eavesdropped. There is no backdoor here, and you don't have to worry about your aircraft being remotely frozen. C919's development of international markets should also focus on developing countries. There is a good saying, don't be afraid of slowness, be afraid of stopping. In the past, we didn't get into the game of civil aviation for a long time, and we could only watch awkwardly outside the door. Now that we have successfully boarded the car, this is the greatest significance. Going from 0 to 1 is the most difficult thing. As for the driving skills after getting on the car, as long as you are willing to work hard, it is only a matter of time before you catch up. The road is definitely tortuous, but the future is bright, and a new journey has begun.